Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the session. A very, very good evening, first of all. Uh, I think most of them have missed the yesterday's class, but in yesterday's class, we have completed one of the projects, and this is called as breast cancer classification or breast cancer project. So basically, what we have done is we have, I'll show you quickly. Yes. So basically, we have used the same sets of workflow of the scikit-learn. That is the setting up the data, creating the model, training the model, testing the model, as well as the prediction. And we have used the same model name, that is a logistic regression model, because here also we'll be having only two outputs. Okay, that is called as one is called as malignant, that is M, and one more is called as benign, that is B. Now, what are these malignant and benign? So, malignant means basically it is a non-treatable tumor, and the benign means basically it is a treatable tumor. So, both are considered as the cancer cells, mainly present in the breast areas. So, basically, malignant is a non-treatable, and benign is considered as a treatable. But if you want to, predict that whether the person is having the malignant tumor or a benign tumor, basically you have to give these data. Okay, we have almost 33 columns. Now, out of this 33 columns, you have one column that is ID, which is not required. One, obviously, column is diagnosis that we are supposed to predict. And one, there is last column called as unnamed 32. Now, this column, you're supposed to delete it. Okay, so we have done that here. You can see while we have extracted the X, okay, basically the input feature, we have deleted the diagnosis, we have deleted the ID, we have deleted the unnamed the 32. And for the Y, which is which the machine is supposed to predict, that we have taken directly the diagnosis, correct? Then we have printed the X. We can see everything except those three columns is not there. And you can see print Y. You can see the values in the form of 0 and 1 here. Why it is 0 and 1? Why not B and M? Because we have manually changed that to 0 and 1 over here. Can you see it? We have manually changed that to 0 and 1 because the machine is not able to understand the M and B, but it is able to understand the numbers, that is 0 and 1. So that is the reason we are converted into 0 and 1. Later on, we have trained the data. You can see splitting the data into training and testing data, and whatever the training and testing data is there, we have trained it. Okay, you can see model training has been done here. So once the model training has been done, we have checked the accuracy score, and the accuracy score was around 0.94. Now it is greater than 90%, so we have considered it as a very good accuracy score. And we have tested the same thing for the testing data as well, and it was basically greater than 90% once again. So it was around 93.8. So again, it is considered as a good accuracy score. Then once we have checked that both the accuracy scores are good enough, then we have built a predictive system where we have mentioned input data. Then we have we have reshaped the data in such a way that the array has been converted into one data point. Now, why this is important? Because the machine, which is supposed to predict the output, it should be given in the form of one data point. Okay, we cannot mention like this. We have to give it in one data point. So we have converted into an array. After converting into an array, we have reshaped into 1 comma minus 1, which is basically one data point. Okay, and after that, the same data, that is input data reshape, has been predicted once again. It has been put into model.predict and put it into a variable called as prediction. Now, if the prediction is basically 0, then we have mentioned the breast cancer is malignant, else the breast cancer is benign. Now, this is the project we have done in the previous class. Now, if you have missed this particular session or if you have missed this class, kindly go to the last class, that is yesterday's class, and kindly make sure you understand all this. Okay, so we have started from something called as machine learning project 2. So I'll minimize this, and I'll minimize the first project also, that is machine learning project 1. And in today's class, we'll create a new machine learning project. Okay, so quickly I'll enable the chat. Yes. So before starting, what I'll do is I'll send all those data sets. If you don't have the data sets, kindly download the data sets. First of all, the breast cancer data set I'll be sending, and along with that, I'll be sending you the uh, this is the one more we have done. Mail data, yes. So I'll send both of the values. My voice is low. Can anybody else just confirm whether my voice is low? No, right? Okay, thank you. Okay. See, I have sent you the data set, and also I'll be sending you the collab link. Now, if you have missed the previous class, kindly make sure you download the collab link, as well as not the download the collab link, download the data set, as well as just make sure you keep this collab link, because same exact collab link we have used in the beginning of the session. Okay, we have not changed the collab link, so exactly same thing we have still using it. Okay. Now, I want everyone to create a new section, called as Machine Learning Project 3. Now, I want everyone to do it. Be quick. Once you have completed with this, I want everyone to write yes in the chat box. So again, what we'll do is we'll compare the previous one, and along with the previous one, we'll come back and forth to see what is the difference here. So I'll just open this once again in a new tab. Why are we removing the diagnosis column? Obviously, diagnosis column has to be removed because it is the output, right? The output that is given by the machine. Whatever the output is there, whatever the output that is being predicted by the machine, that has to be removed in the input feature. I mean, in the X, it has to be removed. And Y is the diagnosis because it is the value that we are supposed to predict. Okay. Please inform WhatsApp group if any changes in that. It is been informed in your I think it has been informed in your dashboards, right? You are supposed to check your dashboards, because every time I'm not available in the WhatsApp. So anymore, if I'll try to, post any changes in the WhatsApp. Otherwise, most of the thing you are supposed to check your dashboards. Okay. Yes. So let's start. I want everyone to give a thumbs up once you have completed with it. Once you are completed with downloading the dataset, as well as okay. So let us begin. First of all, I have written, yes, machine learning project 3. Now here, just see the previous one. Okay, just see the previous one. What we have done? Okay, we have written the workflow of the scikit-learn. Okay, so exactly same thing we are supposed to copy it here also. So let me do that. Let me copy this everything. What is happening? Okay, it is updating, I guess. Yes. Okay. Copied. Let's paste it. Okay. So this is the workflow of the scikit-learn. Now, what are the important dependencies that we have to download? I mean, first of all, import. That is import pandas, as well as import the numpy. So import pandas as PD and import numpy as NP. So these are the two important libraries we have to log in. Okay, once we have done with this, what we have done in the next, we have written the logistic regression here. But in today's class, we are not using the logistic regression, but still, what I'll do is I'll copy this. I'll copy this. And we'll paste it here. I told you we are not using the logistic regression. We are using something else, but we are using the same thing. Okay. I mean, we are using the linear model only, but we are not using logistic regression. We are using something else. Now, after this, we are using the same accuracy score, but here we have used a sklearn.metrics and we have used accuracy score. But here, what we're going to do is we are using, I want you to write importing accuracy score function. Okay. But here, what we are doing is from sklearn, we are importing the metrics directly, but we are not using the accuracy score. Why we are not using the accuracy score, I'll tell you later. Okay, please run it. These two things you are supposed to learn, okay? Not the logistic regression. After this, you have to move on to the next cell where you are supposed to mention the same, the train test split function. Okay, so let us write that here, importing the train test split function. And here from sklearn, dot model underscore selection, we are supposed to import train underscore test underscore split function. Okay, and run it. Okay, perfectly running. Now, what else we have imported? Can anyone tell me in the chat box? What else we have imported in the previous project? We have imported the pandas and numpy. We have imported the accuracy score, and we have imported the train test split function. What else is what else we have supposed to import? Okay, vectorize. You are saying okay. Now, before understanding the entire machine learning project 3, I want everyone to download this data set. So I'll be sending the data set right now. Now, this is called as cardata.csv. Okay, stop messaging. I'll enable the chat. Sorry, disable the chat as of now. I want everyone to download. Be quick. Cardata.csv. I'll send it once again. Yes. Please give a thumbs up for cardata.csv. Done. Be quick. Okay. So same cardata.csv, you are supposed to upload it. Okay. Upload the cardata.csv. Okay. So it has been uploaded. Double click on it. So it will be opened here in the corner. And let us see, let us understand what are we having here. So first of all, you have something called as car name. And these are the car names, which is very much familiar for us, right? And we have something called as year, we have something called as selling price, present price, kilometers driven, fuel type, seller type, transmission, and owner. Now, out of this, first tell me what should be taken as the input data, what should be taken as the output, or basically the Y. What should be taken as X, what should be taken as Y? Can anyone tell me in the chat box? I'll repeat my question. What is the value? Okay. Car name as Y. No, it is not car name. So I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. See, last class, whatever we have done, basically, we had to predict the whether the person is having the breast cancer or not, right? That is malignant or benign. So here we have to predict something. Okay, we have to predict something based on these data. So we have to predict one particular column. Can you tell me what is that column? Exactly. Very good, Roshan. It is a selling price. Okay, it is a selling price. You can see 3.35. It is actually lakhs. 3.35 lakhs, 4.75 lakhs. So basically, these are in the lakh. Okay. So this is the value we are supposed to mention as Y. But does a car name does a car name make any sense here? Yes, it makes a lot of sense to mention the car name, but as of now, if I convert this rates into TFID, what is that? Numeric value. Okay. If I convert this rates into numeric value, the machine is never understanding what is rates, because rates is not an English word. You can see wagon R. Okay. Wagon is a completely different meaning. You can see Vitara Brezza. You can see Vitara, and it has completely different meaning. It doesn't know that this is the car name. Right? So if I convert this into a numeric format, it will never understand. So only solution for this is we have to remove the car name. Okay, we have to remove the car name column, and I told you just now, the Y column, the Y attribute, or the input feature, as well as the label, in that Y is considered as the selling price. So what is the meaning of X now? So X means everything except the selling price, that is year, present price, kilometers driven, fuel type, seller type, transmission, and owner. Now, out of fuel type, seller type, transmission, and owner, already owner is in integer format. Kilometers driven, integer format. Present price, integer, float format, or basically numbers. Selling price, also numbers. Year, numbers. What about these? Fuel type, seller type, transmission. We have to convert into, we have to manually convert this into values that we are supposed to give it in the form of numeric format. For example, 0, 1, 2. So can anybody tell me in the chat box, what are the different fuel types we have as of now? As of now, what are the different fuel types we have? Okay, one is petrol, one is diesel. What else we have? Okay, that is CNG we have. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Electric we have 4. Correct. So more anything else? Which is one more? Okay, hydrogen we have, but we don't use it as of now. Hybrid is basically petrol only, right? Petrol plus batteries. Yes. So basically, I think most is 5. Max is 5. So anything that is greater than 5, no. So can I say fuel type is only limited, or fuel type is only categorized as 5 values? Yes. So here we have only 3 values. Okay, one is petrol, one is diesel, and one more is CNG. What about seller type? Now here we have something called as dealer. Okay, we have something called as dealer. We have to check any different categories that is present in our this particular column. Okay, what about transmission? Can anyone tell me how many transmissions we have? Transmission in the sense, one thing is automatic, one thing is manual. Anything else apart from manual and automatic? Anything else that is apart from manual and automatic? No. Correct? So we have only 2 categories. Owner is already present in the form of numeric format, so we don't have to worry. Now let us move back to our session. Okay. Now, can you see selling price here? Whether selling price is only having 2 binary outputs, in the sense, let's say selling price is having, let's say, only 2 outputs, that is, one is 3.35 lakhs, one is 4.75 lakhs. Whether it is having that? No. So in this case, can I use logistic regression? In this case, can I use logistic regression? Absolutely not. Logistic regression only works whenever we are having binary output. As of now, since we do not have the binary output, we have to use something else here. Now, in this case, you can see whatever the selling price is there, this depends on the year, it depends on the present price, depends on the kilometers driven. Basically, it depends on every single column, right? So whenever the output is depending on every single column, and it is basically variation, okay, it is basically variable, then we are using not logistic regression, we are using something called as linear regression. Okay, so let me change that here also, linear regression. I want everyone to write linear regression and run it. Okay. Again, I'll repeat. Selling price is depending on all other columns. Yes or no? 3.35 depending on the year, present price, kilometers driven, fuel type, seller type, transmission, and as well as the owner. So if the particular column or if the particular output is depending on all other columns for its output, and the output is variable, in the sense, if 2014 and 5.59 is the present price, you can see 3.35 is the selling price. If it's 2013, then 9.94 or 54 lakhs, it is basically 4.75 lakhs. So basically it is variable, correct? Whenever it is variable, then we are using linear regression. Okay. So I hope pandas, numpy, and importing linear regression model, importing the accuracy score function, importing the train test plate function is very much clear. After this, we are supposed to go to the next, where we are importing our data frame. Okay, so let us import our data frame. So let me write here, importing df. So let us call df is equal to, we'll call pandas, we'll call the function that is read underscore csv, and let us mention the name of the file, that is car space data space dot csv. So car data dot csv, and let's run the df and let's check. Okay, so it is running. You can see this is our data set, and we have a very small amount of data set, that is 301 rows and 9 columns. So would you think this 301 rows is enough for our analysis, or enough for the machine learning project? I'll repeat my question once again. Is 301 rows enough for our entire analysis? No, it is not at all important, or I mean, not at all enough. Okay, 300 rows is very, very, very small amount of data. So whenever you're having very small amount of data, basically you might not get a perfect output. Okay, there is a high chance you're not getting the perfect output, but still, I'm going to teach you how to get the output. But as of now, I told you 301 rows is not at all enough for our machine learning project. Okay, so as by saying that, we'll move on to the next, where, well, first of all, let us know whether we are having any null data set or not. So let me first of all mention the info of the data set, and let's check the data types also. Let's check the data types. So I'll be using df.isNull function, sorry, df.info function. So let's check. Okay, car name, you can see I told you just now, car name is object data type, and we are having a plan of basically removing this car name, because every single car name is basically different, and these values are not understandable by the machine. Okay, reds is something, okay, for example, city. In normal meaning, city is a town, big town, right? So city, I mean, if I convert this into a TF-ID effect, right? So what happens is city will be converted into some value, some feature that it is understanding as a city, but it will never understand city is a car. Okay, so that is the reason we have to remove this car name column. Entire column we are supposed to remove. But what about these fuel type, seller type, transmission? We have to convert this into a numeric format, where you can see here is an N64, selling price, present price, kilometers driven, everything is in numeric format, and even the owner is in the numeric format. But we have to change these, that is fuel type, seller type, as well as the transmission. So to convert this, or basically to change this, we have to use the same method that we have done for the previous two models. Okay, that is by using the location function. But before that, let's check whether we are having any null values. So let us call the data frame dot is null function, and let us use the sum function to check whether we are having any null values. Okay, so as of now, we don't have any null values. That is a good sign. Now we'll move on to the next. Now I told you we are supposed to check what are the different fuel types, what are the different seller types, what are the different transmission, so that we can convert into the numeric data type. So first thing that we'll check is what are the different fuel types we have. So to check how many unique values are there in my data set, how do we do that in the data science part? Exactly, it is by using the unique function. So let us write here checking the distribution of categorical data. Categorical data in the sense, first of all, it's the fuel type. So we are calling the pandas. We are using a unique function. And here we are extracting the seller type. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so you can see we have only two values. That is, one is dealer and one more is individual. Okay, so perfect. We have only two data. Whenever we are having two values in a particular column, obviously we can change that to 0 and 1. Okay, after doing this, now let us move on to the next one, where let us count what are the different values for the other column. That is, one more is seller type. The fuel type is done. Sorry, yeah, we have done for seller type. Let us check for fuel type. Let's run it. Okay, we have petrol, we have diesel, and we have CNG. So we have three datas. So again, we can convert into 0 and 1 and 2. What about the last one, that is transmission? Let's check. Let's change that to transmission. Okay, so you can see transmission is again 2. So manual and automatic, again, we can convert into 0 and 1. So you can see this is the first thing that you're going to do, whether we are having any values which is not understanding by us. For example, dealer individual is there and some other value is there which you are not able to understand. So that value you are supposed to remove. Okay, that particular value you are supposed to remove, because it is none of the, I mean, it makes no sense if the particular value doesn't make any sense under the seller type. Same thing applies for the fuel type. Imagine petrol, diesel is there, and let's say one more is water. Okay, so water doesn't make any sense. So even if the data is there, you are supposed to check that data and you are supposed to remove it if it doesn't make any sense. So all this values make perfect sense. So we are keeping it. Even here also, manual and automatic is there. So if something else is there which doesn't make any sense, you are supposed to remove that particular column. I mean, sorry, remove that particular data. Okay. So I hope these many things are very much clear. Now what we'll do is we'll change everything into